Good afternoon, everyone. Today we're going to be talking about Yangon City, located in the nation of Burma, or Myanmar as it is officially known today. This place is absolutely mind-blowing to look at, and its history is even more incredible. We're going to talk about it all today. First, I want to take a look at these spires. They are everywhere in this city, thousands of them, and they are all made of solid gold. They also have diamond finials mounted into their peaks. These are referred to as pagodas by the local Buddhist population. The vast majority of them were said to have been built over 2,000 years ago, during a time where the actual Buddhas were alive. The most famous pagoda in Yangon is the Great Shwedagon Pagoda, which stands 325 feet tall and 430 feet in circumference. It is plated with 60 tons of solid gold and a 76-carat diamond on top. This thing is absolutely insane and is one of the most incredible pieces of old world technology I've personally ever seen. What I find really interesting about these pagodas is that the people of Yangon will openly tell you that they were built by the Buddhas, and they tell us that during the time of the Buddhas, telepathy was possible, teleportation was possible, and they could even take forms of other beings and disguise themselves. If you take these stories at face value, like I do, then you probably also realize that this wasn't some form of magic or miracle work. These abilities were a form of high technology. So how did they do it? And where did this technology go? In my opinion, this technology had something to do with these pagodas in Yangon, and here's why. These pagodas, to me, look like wireless antennas or receivers of some kind. And number two, we know that gold is a great conductor of electricity and is corrosion resistant. And number three, we know that diamonds today are used in high-frequency applications like semiconductors, quantum computers, and are used for thermal management in electronic devices. And finally, we also know about the Great Bell of Damazetti, which existed in Yangon until it went missing in 1608 when it was allegedly stolen and destroyed by the Portuguese. This thing was reported to weigh over 300 tons, which is 100 tons larger than even the Tsar bell in Russia, which was never rang because it broke during its casting anyways. So what am I suggesting about the Great Bell of Damazetti? What I am saying is that these pagodas may have been some form of wireless receiver, and their primary transmitter which they received a signal from was the Great Bell of Damazetti. The Great Bell was tuned to the resonant frequency of the pagodas surrounding it. Another factor at play here may have been the concept of atmospheric electricity and corona discharge. Atmospheric electricity refers to natural electrical phenomena in the Earth's atmosphere, such as lightning, thunderstorms, and the continuous atmospheric electric baseline or global electric circuit that is constantly in the air around us at all times. Corona discharge is a process where a current flows from an electrode with a high voltage into the air surrounding it, creating a luminous glow and ionizing the air. Another phrase for this is called St. Elmo's fire. Here's an example of this phenomenon actually occurring at one of these very pagodas, courtesy of Tartaria Empire on Instagram. So here's my hypothesis in a nutshell, my speculation really, is that these pagodas would harness large amounts of atmospheric electricity. The Great Bell of Damazetti would then be rung, which would cause the pagodas to vibrate and create a profound electromagnetic reaction. How this reaction was then harnessed to give humans the powers of telepathy and teleportation, I truly cannot say. But given the information we know about Yangon City and the Buddhist legends surrounding it, I think it's worth considering the possibility that these pagodas were actually some form of high technology that utilized resonant frequencies and atmospheric electricity. Something you guys probably don't know about me yet is that my day job is actually as a wireless engineer. I work with frequencies and signals almost every day of the week. So I'm going to try my best now to break down this concept of resonant frequencies for you guys even more. Again, my hypothesis here surrounding Yangon stems on the idea that the pagodas were wireless receivers and the surrounding bells, like the Great Bell of Damazetti, were the wireless transmitters. Think of it the same way as the radio in your car, how it's a wireless receiver and the radio tower miles away is the wireless transmitter, or how your Wi-Fi router in your house is your transmitter and the receiver is the Wi-Fi card in your laptop or phone. A few months ago, I bought a set of 440Hz tuning forks and an A4 handbell. The musical note A4 matches the 440Hz resonant frequency. On your screen now, you can see me ringing the handbell and causing the tuning fork to vibrate. Make no mistake, this is not caused by sound waves alone. This is harmonic resonance. If I replace the tuning fork with any other frequency but 440Hz, it wouldn't match and the tuning fork would not vibrate. For instance, if I replaced the 440 Hz tuning fork with a 512 Hz tuning fork, then rang the bell, nothing would happen. However, if I bought a C5 handbell, that 512 Hz fork would resonate with it. Here's a list of a few common musical notes and their corresponding resonant frequencies. Let's take this all a step further. You know when you're on your laptop and you connect to your home Wi-Fi network, you usually have two wireless bands to choose from, the 2.4 GHz band and the 5 GHz band. These equate to 5 million Hz and 2.4 million Hz respectively, well above the audible range for humans. But the concept is still the same as the handbell and the tuning fork experiment we just showed, except the transmitter is not a bell anymore, it is your router, and the receiver is not a tuning fork, but rather one of the antennas in your laptop's wireless card. There are generally two antennas in your laptop's wireless card, one tuned to the 2.4 GHz resonant frequency and the other tuned to the 5 GHz resonant frequency. Your router is transmitting a sound at these same frequencies that causes the receiver antennas in your laptop to resonate and receive the data that has been encapsulated into the wireless signal being transmitted. It's the same concept with the radio in your car. The radio tower is transmitting sound waves through the air, and your car's radio antenna is tuned to the same resonant frequency of the sound waves being transmitted. The only difference between these examples and our hypothesis surrounding the pagodas of Yangon City is that the sounds being produced by your home router or by the radio tower are so high-pitched that we can't hear it until those sounds are received and decapsulated by the wireless receiver device. So when the great bell of Damazetti was rung, it would transmit sound waves through the air, which would then be picked up by the pagoda receivers and vibrate. Let me know your thoughts about this hypothesis in the comments section below, and also let me know if you have any questions about these concepts. I'll try to answer your comments as best I can. Before we go today, I also wanted to discuss a few other items. The bell in the thumbnail of this video is actually the Mingun bell, also in Burma. This is a real photograph taken in 1897 by a British explorer named Sir George Bullough. I colorized it and extended the right side with AI for the thumbnail. Here's the original photograph for your reference. The bell is 90 tons and was said to have been cast in 1808. But looking at this picture, I find that a little bit hard to believe, because less than 100 years later, these locals are literally wearing loincloths. Yet we are told that less than 100 years before this photograph was taken, they were a hyper-sophisticated kingdom building giant castles like the Mingun Pagoda, casting 90-ton bells and suspending them dozens of feet in the air. The story goes that in 1839, a powerful earthquake struck the region around Mingun, Burma, causing significant damage to many structures, including the Mingun bell and the pagoda it was housed within. The quake was said to have resulted in the partial collapse of the unfinished Mingun Pagoda, a massive stupa that was intended to be the world's largest. Despite the devastation, the Mingun bell survived the earthquake intact and was subsequently moved to a pavilion near the Irrawaddy River, where it remains to this day. Let me know what you think of this narrative in the comment section below. Alright guys, so these are the art treasures of Keenlock Castle, and Keenlock Castle was the home of Sir George Bullough. You can see it was commissioned in 1897, completed in 1900 supposedly, this giant castle. But this is just the house of Sir George Bullough, where he housed all of his information and photographs of his various ventures across the world, including this one to Rangoon or Yangon City in Burma. So we'll scroll down a little bit. You can see this guy's book collection from all his explorations. You have India, you have South Africa, China, Japan. Man, would I love a few days to explore this guy's personal collection. Super incredible. So let's scroll down a little bit further. We can see this first photograph. Again, Rangoon is actually the old name for the city of Yangon today. So whenever we see Rangoon in this guy's collection, this actually means the city of Yangon that we were exploring in today's video. So the first photograph is this beautiful ornate mosque known as the Mughal Mosque, which I find very interesting because Mughal meaning Mongol, and we know all about the Mongol Tartarians, and we know about their architecture, which is very similar to this. But anyways, yeah, you can see just on its face here the Mughal Mosque, the Mongol Mosque, which is located in the city of Yangon today, or the old city of Rangoon. Beautiful architecture. You can see the tech on top. Scroll down a little bit further and we have the golden umbrellas. These things are absolutely remarkable to me. Things that we see in the old world were done with decoration in mind. They're very ornate. Things to be beautiful, to be inspiring to the human spirit, to elevate the human spirit. But I don't think these things were purely just to look at. I don't think they were purely just to be inspirational. Almost every building from the old world that we see also has a function built into it, and I don't think that these golden umbrellas were any exception to that. You can see the tech on the top here. These were some form of wireless receiver, in my opinion. This next photo is baffling. I'll put another photo on your screen right now of another one of these headdresses that I find really interesting. You can see kind of the tech or the spire on top of the headdress itself. Now, a lot of people will tell you this is just decorative, and maybe it was, but in my opinion, this was also some form of wireless receiver that could have possibly been used for telepathy purposes. You know, we talked about the bell being tuned to the resonant frequency of the spires. Possibly these headdresses were also tuned to the resonant frequency of the bells as well. So everybody wearing these headdresses, the bells would ring, possibly would lead to some form of telepathy power between the people in that surrounding area. So very interesting, just kind of my personal thoughts and speculation on this. I don't have any way of proving it, but I find these headdresses very, very intriguing. So we'll scroll down a little bit further. This is another pagoda in Rangoon, absolutely beautiful and ornate, very much exceeding our expectations of what we'd see from the native people of this time period. The sophistication of this stonework, the precision of the stonework, and the spires is absolutely mind-blowing, and the fact that they were made to last thousands of years and they still stand today in perfect condition is really boggling to me. So let's take a look a little bit further here. We have another pagoda here, very beautiful, very ornate, and this is the Shwedagon Pagoda, which is the crux of our hypothesis today. This giant pagoda that was built 2,500 years ago by the Buddhas has a 76 carat diamond on top, and it is completely gold plated. 60 tons of gold went into making this pagoda, and inside it was made of brick. So the inside was brick, and then the outside was solid gold, and then the tip was a 76 carat diamond. Very, very cool. You can see another shot of it here. I think this is a more modern shot that they just added to the website here. This is not taken in the late 1800s. But you can see actually they're telling us there is a bell that was inside, or maybe is currently inside. I haven't actually seen that before. But there is a bell inside of this pagoda itself. So it makes you wonder, if all these bells were being rung at the same time, visualize how much sound, how much frequency would be going through the air, causing these various thousands of pagodas all around the city to resonate. And then you wonder, what is the effect of that? Nobody has really ever tested this before. So I think that we need to put more scientific research into resonant frequencies, the study of cymatics, and to better understand what the function of these buildings were, because in my opinion, they were not just spiritual, they were not just decorative, these had a function to them. And here's the picture that I was showing earlier. This is the Mingun Bell, which is not located in Yangon or Old Rangoon, but just looking at this picture, again, you can see these native people in it, and you can see they kind of suspended on these tree trunks. I mean, this thing is absolutely massive, and we're being told that this was cast by people, you know, riding around in horse and buggies, and it's suspended in the air in this massive pagoda. And it just doesn't add up to me, guys. It just really doesn't add up. You could see how they carved this entrance to the Mingun Pagoda into the side of this rock face or brick face here. And you know, the precision and the sophistication required to do this without power tools, it just doesn't add up to me. Let me know what your thoughts are in the comment section below. I think I'll end this video here, but I really appreciate you guys tuning in. Hope you have a great day, and God bless.